Warning, this video contains team selection and captain choices which some viewers may find offensive.
Hey guys, and welcome back to FPL TV. With Game Week 4 ending almost 2 weeks ago now, let's very quickly go over how my team performed before looking ahead to my team selection for Game Week 5. I made 2 additional changes to my final wildcard team, with budget goalkeeper Wayne Hennessy coming in for Man City's Ederson. It ended up being a pretty fortunate decision, with Hennessy saving a penalty in Game Week 4. Transferring out Ederson meant I could bring in his teammate Aymeric Laporte. This allowed me to still cover Man City's good fixtures, but also freed up some extra money in the bank, and it's left me with just enough now to bring in Andrew Robertson or Kieran Trippier if needed. Elsewhere in defence, Mendy returned yet another assist, and Marcos Alonso was 1 point away from a 4th consecutive double-digit score. In midfield, Eden Hazard delivered the goods, and was the only midfielder to return points for me, with Mo Salah blanking and Walcott getting injured early in the second half. Ryan Fraser started the game week on my bench, but he ended up being automatically subbed into my side due to the absence of Wilfried Zaha up front. The Bournemouth man brought home a bog-standard 2 points away to Chelsea. This meant my front 3 became a front 2, with Mitrovic continuing his fine goal-scoring form, bagging his 4th goal of the season. To wrap things up, my captain Aguero returned just the 1 assist, which meant a total of 12 points from him. So this gave my wildcard team an overall points tally of 57 for Game Week 4. It's again not a spectacular game week, but it's a 4th consecutive week above the average score, and was enough to see a green arrow up to 101,000 with a total of 272 points. So let's move swiftly on now to Game Week 5 and see how my team currently lines up. During this break, I'm yet to make any transfers to my team yet. However, my squad has been hit with a fair few injury flags over the past week, with Wilfried Zaha, Theo Walcott and Ryan Fraser all remaining slight doubts for the weekend. The consensus regarding Zaha is that he may be fit to play, with Hodgson confirming in his press conference that he took part in training on Thursday, but Ryan Fraser and Walcott still remain more doubtful. The approach I like to take when dealing with injuries is to wait for these press conferences, and these usually happen a day or 2 before the game week starts. So I'm still waiting on updates from Bournemouth and Everton before making any big decisions. If I do decide to make a transfer though, it'll probably be Theo Walcott making way, providing we receive no good news about him. In his place, James Maddison would be his likely replacement, having impressed so far for Leicester and having a very good run of fixtures coming up. My one concern with this transfer though would be the return of Richarlison in Game Week 6, who is another player that I really like in this price bracket. So Walcott to Maddison is the potential transfer I'm considering, but let's see how my team lines up as things stand, and you can find FPL TV on Twitter to see my final team before the game week deadline. Wayne Hennessy is currently my budget set and forget goalkeeper as he faces an away trip to Huddersfield. A clean sheet away from home does seem unlikely, but Huddersfield have only scored 2 goals in 4 games and have produced the lowest goal attempts of any team in the league, so I guess there's that to remain slightly hopeful about. Chelsea's Marcos Alonso looks to be an excellent player to own this game week, with a very nice home fixture against goal-shy Cardiff. Alongside him is my double-up of Man City defenders at home to Fulham. Man City have disappointingly kept only 1 clean sheet so far, so that's definitely a concern against Fulham, who seemingly love to attack. My defence is complete with £4 million budget option Bennett. He currently makes my team due to Ryan Fraser's injury and does have a very good fixture at home to struggling Burnley. Because of the injury to Ryan Fraser, I'll likely be deploying a 3-man midfield this game week, with big hitters Mo Salah and Hazard alongside the injury-doubt Theo Walcott. As mentioned earlier, Walcott could become James Maddison before the game week deadline hits, but for the time being I'm still waiting for some updates on him. This week I'll be hoping Mo Salah can put his excellent underlying stats to good use, as he faces a tough trip to Tottenham, who do notably have Hugo Lloris out injured. As for my strike force, I'm currently hoping that Zaha makes it back in time for his game against Huddersfield, and he lines up with the informed Mitrovic and the now most highly owned player Aguero. For Game Week 5, Mitrovic is a bit of a conflict of interest for me, as a goal from him will wipe out my clean sheets for Mendy and Laporte, but I suppose this way increases my chances of points from either situation, either a goal from Mitrovic or a clean sheet for Man City. As it is for many FPL managers, the captaincy pick this week is between Hazard and Aguero, and honestly there's not much to separate the two. For me though, I've had the armband on Aguero the entire break so far, and as I've already missed one 20-point score from him, I certainly don't want to miss another. As for the bench, the injured Ryan Fraser currently misses out, but I may just play him anyway, and then he'll get auto-subbed out if he isn't past fit. Budget defender Wan-Bissaka could end up featuring too, not through choice, but more depending on if Zaha plays against Huddersfield or not. So that's how my side currently lines up for Game Week 5, but as mentioned earlier, I'll be waiting a bit longer for injury updates before making any big decisions. Be sure as always to come and say hello on Twitter for any further updates before the deadline hits. I wish all of you an excellent Game Week 5, and I'll catch you all next week.